All right, team.
Yeah,
So,
it's back. We're doing that again.
did we ever do that before? Is that a thing that is done?
Yeah, all last week I was doing it. You probably didn't recognize it because I did this, and last week I did this.
You might actually be right, which is the most annoying thing about that whole statement. Okay, so you guys are kind of standing there. I know what you're trying to do, and I respect it. This drow overseer walks over. She is wearing sort of between a hat and a headdress. The hair kind of loops into it, and it's quite tall, which makes up for her height. It doesn't come up all that often. Drow are quite short. The work clothes she are wearing are red and black and seem like they wouldn't be practical in this kind of condition, which leads you to believe that they might be kind of cooling or something like that, because this place is hot, but it's mostly the acid that is the most annoying thing, the kind of acid in the air. And she walks over. She has not quite goggles, but sort of spectacles that kind of she kind of holds and then takes them off and folds them and puts them into kind of on a clip on her dress, and says, "Excuse me, what are you doing here?"
Ah, hi. Are you the overseer for this region?
Station. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes,
sorry.
I am the overseer of section 3B. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, we checked this tunnel, and there's no sign of the thermites here that we could see. We've only encountered a few so far, so I think we're going to have to carry on checking a few more of the pipes around, because there is an infestation. We found the traces.
I'm sorry. Infestation? What? Who are you?
Yes.
Thermites. Thermites?
Yes, the thermites. Have you not heard of them? They're like an insectoid sort of creature. We've not really studied them, so they may not be insects, but they've got these large mandibles that are capable of bending metal, and they more important, they extrude a sort of saliva that melts the metal, and they eat it, and then they heat it in their abdomen, and if left unchecked, they squirt it out. They form a hive made of metal, and before you know it, I mean, you know, it would wreak havoc with your profit margins. So we were called in. There's a few other of us around.
Was
actually.
there a memo left in the staff room?
Yeah. I mean, I presume so. I spoke to one of the other overseers. It might have been his aide or something. His name was like Viz, and he said that the memo has been sent around.
Can you roll me a deception check with advantage? Because I like this con a lot.
How long does inspiration last?
10 minutes.
So it's already passed.
Fork.
That's not amazing.
Is it? It's 5 off amazing.
There's a she's kind of standing there in thought, kind of finger to her chin, and says, "Would you mind coming with me to discuss this with someone else? I believe you, these things do happen, but I would just like to check with my superiors."
Yeah, I mean that we can, but your superiors might get a little bit pissed if a thermite gets out into the system. I mean, look, I'm saying this partially for your benefit, but also mine. You know, it's my neck on the chopping block if one of these bad boys gets out into the production main line.
No time to lose. You go, I stay.
Right, yeah, okay. He had too much of the termites. Acid sprayed in his face.
No, I understand he is a human. We have had some here. They are... There's like a visible shiver through the woman.
Yeah. So I mean, like, we can discuss this if you want. You know, I don't want to cause disruptions to your work, but you
No,
don't
please,
mind if
please come on.
Ygritte here carries on.
Yes, fine.
Yeah, cool. Because you know they are quite nasty. Actually, I've seen one take a man's leg clean off.
At this point, she will kind of do the like turn and start walking and like have an arm out towards you to suggest that you follow. Of course.
Yeah. So you're probably wondering how I got into this business. You know, not very good for a self-respecting drow. Well.
Well, you were born into the less fortunate gender, so manual labor or penitent work is...
Yeah, well, my older sister always said I was good in small pipes. Dead eyes there.
She nods agreeably and walks you over and up some stairs to a room that clearly has these glass panels that look over this chamber. Goes in here and kind of calls out to someone else. Another woman will walk over and they will start speaking and say, he's saying that there is a kind of infestation and that we have been these are exterminators coming in and that we have been told, but I did not hear anything about this. And the other woman, who seems just older, wearing very similar clothing, says, I remember something of the sort, but quite some time ago. How has it taken so long for you to arrive?
Well, you see, my understanding is that the previous work that was done reasonably, and most of the thermites were destroyed. However, a couple remained, and from there it has taken quite a long time, but your infestation has sprung back up. And you see, as part of the service that we offer, we say we exterminate, you know. It's not a true extermination if you don't kill all of them, you know. So the company motto is exterminate or exterma money back. And we don't have any money to give back because, you know,
Can you roll me a deception roll, please?
It's not a great climate for money, you know, what with things are going on. So, yeah, we're here to try and do a quick fix, you know.
Oh, okay. Are you here with a team?
Yeah, it's me and a couple of humans. But I lost.
Well, fetch them. The infestation. It was in the underbelly of Section 4, right?
Well, I mean, we have seen traces of it throughout the pipe system, I'm afraid. It is difficult to gauge how extensive it might be at this
because
time.
I saw it. The investigation. There was a hive. It got eradicated. I witnessed, and I did sign papers to say that I'd witnessed that it was eradicated, and perhaps it is partly my fault that this happened. And the other woman, the other overseer who brought you here, is like, and kind of writes something down. So if you would amass your team and come with me, I would like to check. There might be some truth. Has been some years since.
Respectfully, Ygritte is very skilled in certain ways. He can smell these thermites. He's like an animal. But when it comes to the thinking department, he's lacking. I think
that is fine. I am not asking you to think. I'm asking you to gather your team and to follow me.
Okay, but you'll have to give me, 10 minutes to get back down there. He'll have disappeared into the pipes by, 20 minutes perhaps. He's very quick in these pipes, you know. These humans, they adapt to crawling in the under, you know, in the little place. They're like insects.
Very well, I will be waiting here.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll be back as soon as possible. Yeah?
Just a blank stare.
Any chance of like a drink or something? Like,
we can
it's
see
really
about that on the way.
Oh, cool. Thanks. You know, it's just very dry in those tunnels. You know? Right, I'll go. Bye. They would head back down to where Gil was.
Well, Gil, what have you been doing for the last minute and a half?
Looking around for other like exits where potentially there would be like metalwork going on?
Yeah. You can roll me a perception check. If you had proficiency with like smithing or something, I'd allow you to also make a check with that, but I don't think you do.
No. Perception, normal. Yeah. I can't see with these glasses on.
I know. I see you're struggling. But Gilwyn can. With his Groucho Marx glasses on. You can tell that this mostly seems to be an early form of treatment. But something you notice quite clearly is that it's not the forging of ingots that's really happening here. You just don't see swords being dipped into acid for at least like one level of treatment. So it seems a lot of the stuff is forged whole. But it's all being taken. There's a flow to it that leads it to be, you figure which entrance will take you further to more important parts where, if you were going to run this sort of place, you would check over the last most important stages. And you kind of looking around, you're pretty sure if you were allowed free reign, you could get to him.
Okay. Where the tick was, I will towards the direction of where the metalwork was being taken from, I guess, or two. Having a hard time, like
Taken 2 because
Taken 2.
It's coming.
More important thing, like where you think the Warstrider would likely be, metal is being taken to.
Okay.
But also where the more completed visceral is.
Yeah.
I would draw an arrow in the direction as best possible in that direction and then head there.
Head that way?
Yeah.
Vale, you see Gilwyn just starting to wander off down the walkway. He's like
pretending to like look around.
Yeah. He's just going.
Vale will pretend not to see him and walk up to the pipe and like lean in and shout, Egred! Egred! And then look out and look at the chalk, like ruffle his hands through his hair and go, shit! He's
Can you give me a... I'm deciding between deception or performance. It's a deception.
It's a performance.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same modifier, but
okay, if it's the same, then it's performance. Yeah. Yeah, because the overseer's office sees everything down this incredibly long place. You can only really see the vague silhouette because the glass, when you were inside, you could see out quite clearly. But on the way there, it's kind of like this red haze. But you can see a silhouette, and you can just see those two standing there.
There's like, oh shit! Oh my god, oh no! And then he runs off in that direction, like panicking.
Okay.
In the direction of the chalk.
Yeah. Which does seem to panic some workers a bit. You two would clearly meet up, but I imagine you do it like round a corner through a doorway. Because the hall that you kind of think that the direction would be, it's quite large walkways, like a lot of the internals of these drow structures that kind of split off to other places. But you've kind of got like a mental map of where this is likely going to go, following the slave-powered production lines. But at this point, it actually leaves the building, goes outside, and you're like kind of like trying to count the steps and things like that. To figure it out. At that point, you two would, I imagine, meet back up, because Gilwyn's not travelling incredibly fast.
Right, okay. You know where we're going? I maybe bought us a little while, a few minutes. Let's just say, I am an amazing actor.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations.
Right? We have rubbed off on each other, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I think this is where production begins this way. And it's where we will most likely find raw materials.
Okay, good. Well, give me your hand.
Okay.
Probably I ran after you because the thermites, they were somewhere, and you went for for them, and I had to help you, you know, but it was a bit of a scuffle, and he draws a dagger and draws it across your arm.
Ow.
Not deep,
You
but
take
enough so it will
one piercing
bleed.
damage. Yeah.
And then she said, look, now it's convincing, right? And maybe if you see something hot, just like wave it over there.
You see, and you hadn't completely consciously noticed, but whereas like every district kind of has its own sort of guards that restore to whatever leader runs it, the kind of red armored guards that are kind of they're not really samurai. The armor they're wearing is heavy and kind of boxy. It's just wielding like a large kind of pike-ish, halberd-ish weapon. You just notice one of them kind of walk into the hallway behind you. What do you notice about those, though, is that they don't seem to have the structure of a drow. They're probably some sort of slave stock.
It got you. Right, where did it go? Come on, Ygritte, sniff it out.
I point towards the direction I actually want to go. Over!
Go on then, go. Find it. Find the thermite. Yes.
Are you gonna follow?
Yeah.
Okay. You run off. You actually over around 5 minutes, because this is a huge place, right? You run down pathways, occasionally looking to see like where things are being taken and things like that. You hear kind of a clicking noise and then a resonant sort of sound through the structure, and then running through it is like, there are reports of an insect infestation in the pipes. Would everyone make a extra check on worker numbers to make sure that nothing has been lost? And it kind of like fades out with kind of that like dissonant noise, like the microphones in like BioShock. It's like a very strange magical system that kind of echoes through the structure. And you keep running towards the area where you are looking for, where the raw material is brought, the raw adamant, to be turned into virus style. Correct? Because I said you figured out the way the other way, where the Warstrider probably is, but Gilwyn was saying, I want to find where the raw material is.
Yes.
Yes.
I would go that way.
Yes. You'd find your way to that space. What's interesting is not a lot of these internal doors are locked. You just Vale being able to tell these kind of things as a very good thief. Some of the doorways to like offices and number rooms, lawkeepers' rooms and things like that, they're locked, but like the ways that slaves would have to walk and drag things, absolutely not. Very rarely do they have a door, in fact. You go over to this big loading bay, and there's actually a big old bay door that clearly, through the glass hatches on it, kind of looks out to that opening bay area of the city that I discussed before, of the manufacturing district. And in here are these, I suppose pallets of ore would be the best way to put it. They'd usually be in stone containers, but are kind of nondescript. There's also some of the adamant ore that's just kind of sitting. Why the Varistyle and a lot of the kind of magical components to make it seems to be quite volatile. The actual adamant ore itself, some of it is just sitting on the ground and doesn't seem to have any sort of problem about it. And it's kind of a dullish grey. There's a kind of glossiness to it that kind of gives you a little bit of what maybe it's going to become. But it's really like nondescript. Any of you would be like, it's just metal ore in it. You know, it doesn't look as fancy as it is in these big, raw ore chunks. Most of them, you know, the size of your head or bigger. Some of them are cut into more slivers. And there are some guards in this room. You actually enter, and one of the guards has their helmet off. And it's just like, oh, so there's more bugs. We're not going to have to deal with the bugs, right?
No, you're not going to have to deal with the bugs. But there is a trick to these bugs, and actually they should have warned you, really. The Thermites, they love the raw adamantite. They love it. It's like their favorite food, yeah. So we need to take a few chunks to lure them away from you guys. I mean, have you ever seen one of these things?
I grab my head and go, Hansel, and run over to the ore, and I'll cast prestidigitation on one of them try and
Make it
mark
like it's
it
been
with like a
nibbled.
mandible
Yeah.
that's been scratched. I pick
Yeah.
it up.
That
Oh.
can
Oh,
you both
dear.
give me performance checks?
Oh.
Yeah, the two guards in this room are really freaked out. They're like that kind of like spooked where they're not sure if they want to run away or stay or like try and get help, and they're just kind of enraptured by the scene going on here. No one's like, get it out of here, take it away from here.
Does Gilwyn have the bag of holding?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank God.
That is really convenient right now.
Like, put the bag like behind it so they can't see you're just like scooping inordinate amounts in.
Yeah.
It's just like, and they're like, oh. Vale's gonna go and distract him while he's doing this. Right, okay, boys, deep breaths. Okay, everything is going to be fine. We're going to take these bugs away, and they won't come and bother you. You know, it's a simple matter. They can chop a man's leg clean off, but they cauterize the wound, so the pain is immense. But you won't bleed to death. You'll just be stuck with the pain for so long until someone finds you. And goes on like that until like half the stacks go.
Can you give me another performance roll to see they don't notice that you're just piling as much as you can into the bag of holding?
Me.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
He's doing it so that they don't see you.
I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Hey guys, don't worry. It's really just me.
What?
Are you sure that you need that much? This stuff is worth more than a freaking a mansion at the top of the city. Just a single chunk of it is worth 10,000 soldiers.
I know.
Larvae.
That-
Plant. Larvae.
Oh no, they haven't. Oh, man. It's going to need to be processed. They've planted their larvae inside. Ygritte is unique. He can smell them. The larvae actually hatch out of the adamantite and hide within your flesh until they are old enough to break out and eat the adamantite. Yeah, they're disgusting creatures, really.
Can you give me another performance roll, Mr. Vale?
With advantage.
Yeah, go on. Yes. I would love to also add, when you take a big sniff of the adamant, it gives you like a really uncomfortable head high. It like, you should not have done that. There's like this horrible heavy metal smell to it. That makes you be a bit like, oh shit.
Sniffing that lithium over there.
Yeah. These two continue to be completely and utterly freaked out. It's like, yeah, no, whatever you need, sure. Are you sure? Yeah, they're hook, line, and sinker, to be honest.
Every now and then I'll grab one and be like, safe, and throw it, like, just anywhere.
Right. I think once we've like gathered a good amount. Where is the pipe entrance in this room for the trash? This is their usual method of transport.
Oh, it's down that way, but unlike this just one goes just out, down. It doesn't go into the rest of the system because usually, because we actually do have problems with Zorn in here.
Yeah, I can imagine actually.
Yeah.
You're sounding a lot more like me than when we first started.
I know that was a very Vale one.
Okay. Well, I think to keep you guys safe, it's worth me and Ygritte going checking it out just to be sure. I wouldn't want to come back and find one of you missing both your legs and the other one with some.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean,
larvae
I'll even he like goes over and like opens the frickin' hatch. That kind of causes wind to kind of be sucked in a little bit because it's kind of like a corner pipe, but does just go down to the pit.
Thanks, guys. You've been a great help. Me and Ygritte will be sure to keep you safe. Don't worry. Yeah, they don't like just standard water. If you've got any of that, maybe just douse yourself in a bit.
Like get the water skins out.
Oh, okay, bye now, guys. Bye. Come on, Ygritte.
Salutations. And I'll follow Hansel.
Had a big word once.
So you're gonna leave through the pipe that just downwards?
Yep.
There's kind of like handholds, so you can kind of like hang upside down from it if you want. What's the plan from there?
So we're like inside the pipe.
You're inside the pipe. The pipe just goes down into the pit below the factory. Yeah.
Vale's gonna
You can hear the whistling wind.
Wiggle round, grab hold of Gil, wrap his arms and legs round his back, and then say, "Just let go and slide down. It'll be fine."
I cast Dimension Door and think of where Serena would be.
Okay.
Try
Can
and
you go
dimension
ahead
dots there.
and click that real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's got a range of 500 feet.
Okay.
So
You could
couldn't
get us to
that
where
far
we
away.
started. Okay.
Probably. I mean, it's a huge structure.
At least safe, just out of the pipes into the garbage room again.
Oh yeah, because from the garbage room we can get out.
Yeah, that was pretty central, so I'll absolutely allow that. Vale's like throwing this whole thing, and then you're just into the splash, into the grimy water of the garbage chute.
He lets go, and then you hear water splashing, and oh, what was that?
You landed on the box of nails.
That was me finally using the way out that we were
Wow.
going to use.
That was. Vale stands up and then doubles over and vomits. Oh, that was.
That was our best performance we've ever done.
That was amazing. He goes to hug you with like vomit on one of his hands.
Air hug.
All right, you humans are funny. Air hug.
A strange hang up.
Why would you air hug? Like, you live so short lives. Hug while you can. That's so sad.
Can you guys both give me perception check, please?
Yeah, you didn't notice the shit monster sitting in the corner here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I hate those boys so much.
I love shit demons, mostly because of how much you hate them. And they have got a
horrific.
character kill before.
They nearly killed Tell.
What's great is that Vale's like, and Gillen's like, oh. And then you just see a sort of bubbling in the corner of not something moving, because a lot of the stuff in this is stone or slag or stone boxes down here, and you see a creature rise gliding through that. The only way you see it is the rippling of the water, because it's displacing the water but not the stone, if you see what I'm kind of saying. And it kind of rises kind of half its body out through the water as it moves over, and you see it behind Vale with its eye going right towards you. And you've actually seen one of these before, Gilwyn, in the giant's palace under the water. One of these creatures, and I'm fairly sure you guys ignored it, as it lumbered around, this three-armed, three-legged creature with a mouth where its neck should be.
It's a shit demon.
And a big eye that's looking right towards you. The creature is stony-skinned, and you can kind of... There's kind of like a snuffling noise coming from it as you see all these glands swelling on the inside and outside of its mouth as it's coming towards you.
Problem, Vale.
Vale turns around like,
And it rises to its full height of, 7 feet.
I don't like this. We should go, Gilwyn.
Mm-hmm.
He, like, staggers back next to him. We should leave now.
Yeah, good idea.
like proper Scooby-Doo.
Dex. Let's just give you 2 dex saves to run away from this one.
All right. It's not a ghost.
Poo monster.
Oh! So you guys, like, just... I was now imagining you guys, like, jumping up, legs spinning, and then dashing out like a Hanna-Barbera. And you go down onto that bit below the trash room with the metal grates and the one guard. Like, and the guard's like, what's going on? And then the big creature down through the chute, reaching out. It reaches out and picks up one of the things in here and just shoves it into the mouth on the top of its head with one of its 5 arms, completely catching up with a lot of you. There's nowhere else to run other than the pit below and this one guard who is freaking out seeing all of this.
Vale's gonna wrap his arms around Gil, and he's gonna look at the guy and he's gonna say, okay, I need you to trust me. We have magic that will stop you from falling. You've got to jump or you will die, okay? 3, 2, 1.
Give me a persuasion roll. You're about to do what I think, that's like really bad. He jumps. The guard jumps.
They both fall together for a little while, and then the huge golden wings spread from Vale's back. And he carries on falling.
And the guard carries on falling, and you two stay. That's so bad. That might be the worst thing you've ever done as a party.
That's up there with when Tel was just chucking Sahagwin just back into the sea. Oh,
that's really bad. Okay. The creature, of course, doesn't follow you. It can't wings. And where are you going to fly? What's the plan?
He is going to glide his way towards some of the walkways. And then, like, when he knows he's on a walkway that with some acrobatics they can make it back to where they began, he did let the wings dissipate.
Yeah.
Because they glow.
So, can you give me just stealth checks, you choose, to get back to the commercial part of this district, where Serena and Dira are, without arousing suspicion? Wow.
That's a double. We get a reroll.
You actually get
12s?
2 gold. It's Mario Party rules. Yeah, while you're leaving, you start to hear bells get rung inside the buildings and klaxons inside, and you kind of hear from outside, because these walkways are usually outside, you kind of hear the from like inside the factories of the announcement systems going off and things. The place definitely gets on higher alert, but you guys get to the, where...
I think Vale would change his disguise self as well, so it just looks like a different now.
Yeah.
Because he can.
And Serena and Indira in your tavern overlooks this area. You would see the district kind of get on alert, kind of a bit before these guys get to you.
So we make it to like the tavern.
Yeah, you guys make it together. Yeah. It's just that they knew you were here, which is bad, but not as bad.
Hey guys, it's me. And him.
Hi.
What? Oh, okay, yeah. We don't do that when you've been off gallivanting with some man.
I have not gone gallivanting since I've met you. Thank you.
He looks at Gil. I don't think that's true. I think both of these ladies have been gallivanting quite a lot, actually.
Hey, let's
Take you back and get you in a bath?
get a room or get out of somewhere so public.
Yeah, maybe we should go further away, because there were some really loud alarms, actually. We should probably
Yeah, you
leave
can tell that, like, this tavern is, like, straight up shutters down the windows right now, basically preparing for lockdown.
We should walk and talk.
You casually walk away.
He like glances at Serena. Figure of speech. Because she got no legs.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, yes, I am aware.
Okay. Where are you going?
We should start making our way towards the rebel camp.
Okay.
In my humble opinion.
Indira would agree to that.
Okay. You work your way down to the empty ruins below the city where the rebel camp lies. Long into this journey, quite quickly into this journey, the alarms of the factory district are naught but a memory, and you can enter the rebel camp in the sunken ruins under the stones in the caverns below, which are... It looks a little better down here. Not in the way of food supplies and things, and not in the way of numbers, but more of these slaves seem to have slightly better equipment. There's a little bit more comfort.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more music, a little bit more better morale.
They got those military grade banjos.
Yeah! Kind you can cut a man with.
Like hit him around the face with the string side, and there's just like...
You get
just
it.
like...
Thyristor stings.
Don't ever pluck the strings with just your fingers.
You need a Virus-style glove to play a Virus-style banjo.
Right?
Yeah. It's a whole system. But you as friends of the Weavers can happily enter their camp. You're not really given any sort of trouble at all.
Cool. So, they should be able to hopefully turn this into visceral. I hope. Right?
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
I mean, if they need the acid, they can just go collect some. There's loads dripping from those pipes all over the place. That's grunt work. We don't need to do that.
That's also assuming there isn't a bespoke way you're meant to forge this.
You're pretty sure it's very specific.
Right, yeah, but we've got a lot of adamantite, right? Like a lot.
You got a lot.
We could probably work it out. I wish Amelia was here. I bet Sid would know what to do. I bet Sid and Amelia would sit there and talk about it for far too long.
Mm-hmm.
Obnoxiously long, but they'd figure it out.
Hmm.
Didn't we just have to get it? Can't we take it to the smith?
Yeah, but he might just make adamantite, which isn't visceral, as you can tell from the different name.
Alright, so you're taking it to the smith?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have the name of the smith for this place? It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. I don't have it written down right way here, but the smith here is that old drowned woman working with... her setup is actually quite a lot nicer now. Before it was basically mobile smith tools and buckets of water and things like that. The setup is much nicer now. She's training a couple of other people on how to work things, which is very important for this kind of rebellion. And she will kind of give Serena a nod as you approach. I forgot. Serena has dog brain.
Yes, sorry. So you can actually hear me because my video, my end, is basically stopped.
We can hear you. Sometimes you freeze, but all we need is the glorious siren tones.
Yeah, well, the voice, it seems that I can at least hear you fine. So, okay. So Serena would nod back at the smith and just say, Well, I've been unable to acquire mithril. However, we have something of even more value if you are able to work it in this environment. Go in if you would.
I'll pull out one, I guess, just for now.
Ah, yeah, adamant. That is interesting. Is that all you managed to steal from them? That's very useful.
We stole a lot.
How much?
Sorry, Serena. I'll pour out some of it.
Not all of it?
Okay, all of it. I'll just
it's
keep
up
going.
to you. You could leave some.
Yeah, I'll pour out about 80% of it.
Okay. Her eyes light up, and she stands and is like, "This is very useful. This can be turned into virus style. Although we don't have anywhere near the setup or the magic to do so, but we might be able to trade it 2-for-1 for good virus style weaponry before
What
we
can
have the
we
setup."
do to help you have the setup?
Well, the manufactory district is so large because all of that is necessary. There's magic involved, specific schools of magic, specific acids, lots of space, lots of room to dry. We could make a little bit, maybe, if I had the right sort of magic, and that might be in tomes, in the manufactories, in fact. It's very likely. But even without that, this is still a valuable resource. Trade. This for trade could be used to get more practical materials for an army such as this.
Yeah, one of the guards said it was worth like a mansion or something like that.
We could even use it to get virus style.
Well, that would be more useful because, yeah, actually we got this because we need Virustal.
I understand. I will contact people when the time is right, when it is not so hot, when it has not been hours after you assumedly stole it from under the factory's noses.
Oh, yeah, literally right under their noses. They said, and I quote, "Please take as much as you want." Yeah. We're pretty good, actually, aren't we?
Basically geniuses.
Oh, yeah, definitely, actually. You should have seen his acting. It was, I think you call it method acting. You know, he was really going for it.
She is kind of counting things, not listening at all.
Yeah, you see, he does it. He just turns to like Serena and Indira, and he's like, "Yeah, you see, he was playing Ygritte, who's like this thermite hunter who had some sort of injury in his head when he was younger, from the acid they spray from their mouths, and I was like his handler almost, but he can sniff these things out, and yeah, it was good. We did good, really. It was top-notch work.
It was inspired. I'd like to use that word. It was
Yeah,
inspired.
I agree. It was inspired. You know, we didn't just go in there and say, "Should we flirt with any females we find?" We said, "Let's go and do something." No, I kid. Both of your methods have been working extremely well.
All right, your equivalent to Brando and Brody. Get you in to a bath, please.
All right. Yeah, I suppose. You know, I can't really smell it. I think the acid has deadened my sense of smell. There was a lot of acid.
I'm
Ugh.
very glad that you survived.
Speaking of smell, don't sniff the ore. I don't know why you would. Don't know why I brought
If you
that
say
up.
that, do you say this to the blacksmith or to the party? The blacksmith just gives you a like that's obvious look. But it's coming from an old drow woman, so it's even more insulting.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. Just, yeah, bath.
So one of the reasons why this base is down here is essentially a aquifer of natural water very nearby, where the city draws from. So you can go basically to a pool portion of this that's semi-maintained, so it doesn't get full of algae and stuff, where you can Have yourself a bathhouse episode.
It's not full of it, but you can grab like a handful of the algae and just like smush it all over yourself. It's
If
like
you
a
wanted
sponge.
to,
It's like
because
a sponge.
there's definitely spongy mushrooms for that. If you
Oh
would so
yeah,
please,
yeah. But I just hope it doesn't like infect you. And you're like,
Or is alive.
Oh no! I got a
like,
fungal infection.
But I do have an open cut thanks to Vale.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But yeah, you
It
guys
dissolved
can
it, though.
you guys can wash off there in one of these
La-da-dee,
rock pools.
la-da-doo, la-da-da, la-da-dee.
And by this point, you guys are pretty exhausted. You've been, you've basically gone over a day. But a lot of it was
Do we
travel.
just set up a camp, or do we have like standing rooms at this?
Last time you were here, they basically made a space for you. It's very unlikely they still would have left that because you left for quite a while. But while they're bathing, you'd be like, oh, okay, I'll go and talk to people and they'll set that up. You can stay here and get fed. Okay.
Oh, real food.
Anything any of you want to do before
Real
Betty Bye
mushroom
time?
food.
Yeah, it's not actually mushroom food here. The food you get is the konvu, which you guys haven't been eating much of. It is a kind of algae culture that drow eat, and it is basically slimy, textureful, tasteless tofu. But it's this kind of algae growth that grows really long. They eat it in discs. And it's nice when it's in curry, but right now it's just like salty
I bet
brine.
it's still nice to have actual substance.
It's nice to feel full in your stomach, Yeah.
Post convo,
Yeah.
Vale would be relaxing in the classic pose. So it seems to me, if we manage to get hold of some visceral weapons, next course of action is to kill the weaponsmith. Option 1. We think we found where her workshop would be in the visceral factory, whatever you want to call it. So we could perhaps find her / ambush her there.
Do you think we'll be able to get back in after your admittedly brilliant performance?
I mean, I know there's one place that's not guarded right now. Oh, maybe. It was, as Gilwyn says, inspired. It would be difficult to come up with something so fantastic. On the other hand, we could stick simply to the pipes because we have a better idea of the layout now.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps. The other alternative I see is engage her in a gladiatorial combat in her pit of doom.
Called the Garden of Blood.
Called the Garden of Blood. Wow, that's wow.
Do we?
It's explicitly you remember the name because that's where you've been executed.
Do we know if she engages in combat with more than one prisoner at a time? Because I would imagine she would prefer to be always be given the upper hand.
I feel like she probably has an extremely large opinion of herself. Like she probably is like, ho, I can kill anyone in this gladiatorial pit. And she probably has like this sense of pride and honor that would mean that she would fight us however we wanted. Maybe all of us versus her, because that would be really quite pleasant, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't matter if it was one-on-one as long as I got to go first.
I mean, sure.
The other difficulty of that would be leaving after the fight.
Yeah.
Not like
Ideally,
they're gonna let us traipse out of there, huh?
Ideally, we need to lure her out to a place that is not, or at least to an area where there is no one to watch before we kill her. Because the other drow will not let us go easy.
They might be too terrified to enter the pit. Depends on if there are samurai around, really.
I would rather not make that gamble if we can avoid it.
Can you give me an insight roll, Vale?
It's my lucky number.
Continue.
I suppose there is a chance that in her route between her workshop, her home, and the gladiatorial arena, which we have no guarantee are all separate, there could be an area that is mostly quiet or abandoned.
We also have no coordinates for those locations. Besides the workshop, obviously.
She is
I suppose
prideful.
Blood wouldn't be too hard to find.
Yeah, it's like a big public arena. You know it's gonna be somewhere high up in the city. But yeah, you have to figure out where it is.
Would you imagine after she quote unquote duels her opponent, would you imagine she goes back into, let's say, the dressing room?
I thought you were going to say eats them afterwards, and probably.
Why would you even consider that?
Well, she's
That's
like
a question I would have.
a big spider thing, right? She probably eats them. Like if we die here, we're going to be eaten,
Okay.
and you'll be turned into web, and I'll be turned into poo. There's not enough of you to make a good. You're already like the thinness of spider silk.
But I will serve a purpose, and you will just be removed, excreted, even.
Yeah, but
Left.
a load of mushrooms will grow on me,
Nice. It's
and
beautiful.
I will be a born again mushroom.
Back
As
to my
lovely
question.
as
Right?
all
Yeah.
of this sounds, I'd like to avoid it.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
Do you think after combat she will go back to a dressing room, perhaps remove her armor?
I doubt she removes her armor if it is grafted. But perhaps if it is grafted, she has to have it regularly oiled. So perhaps she does have a room such as that.
No, I
I'm
could
just-
probably use my methods to talk to somebody who's close to her and figure this stuff out. Tonight,
Okay.
I could go to an inn.
The reason I ask, in case it isn't obvious, is if we catch her after she's already fought, she might be a little less,
Frisky.
Yeah, that is precisely the word I was going to use.
I have picked up a lot. Yeah, so that's a possibility. How are we?
Of course, getting in there is difficult.
How are you going to find someone who is close to her, Indira?
I don't know. I'm sure the personal guard have special uniforms. I'm sure that there's a favored inn. I could ask any soldier anywhere. As long as they find me.
I mean, you could. It sounds a lot like that slave freeing idea. Eh, Gil? I see the smile. There it is. He's
If
laughing.
it is going to take time for any trades that the smith here is going to do, we have time to gather information. We could potentially go through several parties, go on to find out who, as it were.
Ooh.
That's a very good point. Indira, why don't you speak to the smith? She is in the smithing circles, knows how to forge adamantite. I imagine that is not a small deal down here. Perhaps you could ask her whether there are any areas that smiths visit locally. or in the city congregate, that sort of thing. I should imagine a great many of them would be interested in the in the visceral smith's work.
That honestly sounds like a Gilwyn job.
But then you go there and you you flirt with some of the smiths. You say, hey, do you want to hit my anvil with your hammer? Do you want to strike?
Can do the first part, and I can do the second part. It just seems like Gilwyn will have better luck.
Yeah, but she's the smith in the camp. Should probably just say hello. But, okay, we'll deal with this in the morning. She probably won't like Gilwyn. He is human.
That's true. I am essentially scum.
Some might say too human.
Terrible game. Don't know why I said that. It's not in character at all. Just have the compulsion to say it.
I weirdly enjoyed that game.
You would. Right. Plan to go to Betty Buys?
Yay.
Okay. Well, the only thing I'm going to bed is this break. So we'll be back in 5 minutes or so.
You could have gone with the only thing that's going to bed is the stream.
But no.
That implies that it's over.
Yeah. And it's not over, baby! We'll be back after these not commercial messages because I can't do that. We'll be back.
When Ollie goes to bed.